Hopefully that's good. Alright. Hello! I am recording a video from possibly one of the oldest devices that I have that can still shoot video and that I can get the video off of it. It is my Nintendo 3DS. It's the Crimson Nintendo 3DS, which I got as a Christmas present, and I verified this by looking at the serial code on the back of the device. It is from December of 2011, and yes, you can find out down to the month of when your Nintendo DS is from, at least your 3DS, from what I gather. So anywho, I wanted to shoot this video and upload it to my YouTube channel just to see, just because, you know, it's funny to consider that I could have done this when I was in when I was a freshman in high school. When I was a freshman in high school, I could have theoretically vlogged or shot videos on this very same device and upload them to YouTube. A couple funny things is that, one, I'm noticing a bit of a lag in terms of the sound and the audio, in terms of the audio and visual timing. There seems to be a bit of a lag, and I'm looking at older videos that I've recorded, and it doesn't seem to be the case, but maybe it's just the age of the device, and maybe it's I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to figure that one out. But anywho, the limit of the time limit that you can record a single video is actually 10 minutes in length. So I just tried to record something prior to this and ran through it like that. So it's funny to actually have constraints in a world where, in a world where, you know, you can essentially record video as long as you want, in most cases. I mean, there's certainly no technical challenges to that, for the most part. But anyways, excuse me, I'm sick, a little bit. I have a sinus infection that I must have gotten probably the day before New Year's Eve, something like that. My throat started feeling a bit sore on New Year's Eve, and it's been rough. But I'm now on amoxicillin after my most recent doctor's visit, so that should help a little bit. And also, I would like to include some predictions for 2025, which is so crazy that we're even in this year already. I was a senior in high school 10 years ago, which is so nuts. And yeah, so things have changed drastically in the past 10 years, and in just this year ahead of us, in 2025, I do think we're going to see some very interesting things happen. Some of them being in the world of artificial intelligence. Multiple. I mean, so many. Basically, everything can and will be affected by the developments that come out of artificial intelligence. So that pertains to the frontier models, or that are developed, that you may have heard of, like ChatGPT is sort of derives from OpenAI's GPT-3 and now GPT-4, and now there are even more recent models which have reasoning capabilities and actually process more of the task on the device, because much of the stuff is done, these requests, like let's say if you're chatting with, if you're in like a chat with any like language model, I guess you could say, is basically being done in the cloud or at a data center to handle this process. So we haven't quite gotten to the point where we have these elaborate machine learning models, or language models rather, running on our devices. We can have like those models running on a laptop, and they are somewhat limited in their capability. But anyways, huge developments there, I think, this year will be coming in terms of just what they can do and their agentic capabilities. So watch out for what these models can do in terms of something comparable to a person. The predictions that I'm hearing are to where these models will eventually be able to do the work of an entire company's worth of people, which is remarkable. It's crazy, a little scary, but I hope that it's oriented towards the good and it will be of service to humans. So this is all sort of a positive, I guess, outlook for the most part of 2025, as well as maybe some predictions for, let's say, the world of autonomous driving. I worked for a robotaxi company conducting closed course testing at the Milford Proving Ground for a number of years. That was about two and a half years at the General Motors Proving Ground. It was a great job, and I learned a lot about that technology. And I'm a big fan of it. I follow it, updates on it, basically every week. And chief among them is, of course, Tesla and Waymo. Sadly, the company that I work for, Cruise, is now being absorbed effectively by GM. And the team that I worked with, they're kind of in radio silence right now. They're not even sure if they'll have their jobs, which is a bit frightening. Hopefully it works out well for them. I guess it's good to maybe mention that. I can perhaps update that. They have not heard anything, basically, for several weeks, and hopefully we'll see if that team will still continue to work in some capacity at the Proving Ground. That's where I had previously worked. That's a whole other crazy, amazing area where there's so much being done by General Motors over there. But anywho, Tesla has their FSD, which is on currently version 13. That's the newest of the new. That's on the newest hardware, newest software, and it's the capabilities of that have grown and increased dramatically over the past year. And Tesla is going to be opening up new specific ride-hail offerings in 2 cities this year, in just a few months. By like late spring, maybe like early summer, it's going to be great. So I'm really interested in seeing how they perform these Tesla, like sort of these. They're going to be Model 3 and Model Y, so that's like the smaller vehicle, the cheaper one, and then the slightly larger one they look very similar. Those will be used as similar to like Waymo ride-hail vehicles, but without a lot of the huge sensor array, all the different LiDAR, radar, cameras, ultrasonics that are normally mounted on what you would think of as a modern-day robotaxi. So the future is now. Language models, robotaxis, and also embodied AI in terms of humanoid robotics. I think those being used in factory settings or in other dangerous settings, I eventually would love to see. I can see humanoid robots being used to assemble stuff like in outer space, sort of in like suborbital assembling of, like, it could be, let's say, solar arrays to capture energy. There's so much that's happening, and AI can be, I hope, the catalyst to really springboard the development of not only technology from a robotic standpoint, but also research in genetics and medical science and material science. And that's not all going to be happening in some explosive thing this year. It could, but I don't think so. But I think we're going to see definitely some notable incremental updates, improvements over the next year, over the next 12 months, in all of those specific worlds, and that just being hopefully to our benefits as humans. And yeah, so I'm very optimistic and excited. There's going to be some interesting movies coming out, and of course an upcoming new presidential administration, so we'll see where that goes. Hopefully all just, more better things to come for Americans and the rest of the world. No crazy geopolitical stuff. Hopefully we're in a crisis period. This is what the generational theorists have surmised in decades past, is that this era that we're currently in the 2020s would be a generational crisis period. If you look up the book called Fourth Turning or other generational theories, you would see that it's that's what we're living in, and that is marked by a large conflict. And in most cases, if you go back, you can see, the Civil War. That would have been World War II, then the Civil War, then the American Revolutionary War. That's America's sort of microcosmic history of these patterns that we live through. So hopefully nothing too crazy on that front in terms of any wars or conflicts. But yeah, it's going to be great, and I will see how this video sounds. If it's good, I'll upload it. If not, try again. Happy New Year to you all. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you later.